LYNEX is a liquidity marketplace built on top of the Linea ecosystem that aims to democratize liquidity provisioning while creating zero-knowledge dark pools within its liquidity marketplace. Our goal is to make complex liquidity strategies available to anyone and lower the barrier of entry for the average user when it comes to liquidity provisioning. I know how familiar everyone is with concentrated liquidity, but it's something that came around a couple of years ago, and as its core, it creates a new layer of complexity over the traditional automated market making strategies. Like the average user doesn't really know how to manage their own concentrated liquidity positions, and this can lead to a lot of impermanent loss and not even being able to capitalize on these opportunities. This created a new vertical on DeFi and on the crypto space, which is the automated liquidity management. And currently, there are like many liquidity managers, many professional DeFi market makers, but these market makers don't really have the awareness or the reach that they should have. And the average user doesn't even know that automated liquidity management is a thing. And with LYNEX, we aim to address this. We aim to lower the barrier of entry, and we aim to give the reach that this type of strategies deserves. So what we're trying to do is to level the playing field for the average user. At the end of the day, when Uniswap came out, it was like, okay, anyone can become a liquidity provider, and they did a great job with their simple 50-50 liquidity pools. Nevertheless, when concentrated liquidity became a thing, it was no longer the case. If you didn't know what you were doing, if you were not a professional, you weren't a competitive liquidity provider. So we're aiming to level up the playing field by enabling anyone to create these complex strategies, or anyone to actually participate of existing strategies and enjoy this passive liquidity provisioning experience that was so common a few years ago, and now it's not really very possible with concentrated liquidity. We're going to do this by aggregating different liquidity managers and creating basically placing them in a space where they are competing to maximize the profitability of the liquidity providers, to create like an environment where always the goal is to maximize the fee revenue of those participating. Additionally, to create like good incentive alignment between the protocol and the liquidity providers, we're implementing something that is called options liquidity mining, which is something that rewards the liquidity providers with an options on the protocol token, and they will have different paths that they can choose on how they want to redeem their option to capitalize their efforts as a liquidity provider. Here we can see a diagram of how this can potentially look for a liquidity provider. So you're a liquidity provider, you come into LYNEX and you see, okay, like what is my risk appetite? How much fee revenue do I want to have? And what type of asset do I want to be exposed to? And relative to this, you can pick the path that makes most sense for you. For example, we have some strategies that are focused on providing single-sided liquidity. So let's say you want to become a liquidity provider, but you are long on ETH. So you don't want to be exposed to impermanent loss on ETH. We have strategies that enable the user to have a maximum amount of ETH that is exposed to the price deviation. For example, we call these single-sided strategies, and they are provided by an ALM called Ichi. And all of these strategies go into the same pools, but they are managed and balanced differently. This creates a highly capital efficient decentralized experience, but also it enables these different managers to compete among each other. So I believe, and we believe at LYNEX, that this competition will greatly enhance the efficiency of the liquidity positions, greatly increasing the fee revenue for the liquidity providers and for the protocol itself. And how does the protocol work? How is everything tied together? So the core token of the protocol is the LYNX token. This LYNX token is a governance token that is used to decide on how the rewards are distributed on the liquidity providers. Those who are voting with the BLYNX token, which is a locked form, also known as vote escrow, they direct the emissions towards these different liquidity strategies, and also they can direct their emissions directly to different strategies such as Ichi, Arrakis, Gamma, DeFi Edge. So basically, those who are creating the strategies are competing among each other to maximize the amount of votes they get. And those who are voting, they want to maximize their fee revenue. So they will vote for the strategies that are the most profitable. This creates a very positive flywheel and puts everyone who is creating strategies in a position where they really need to take care of their liquidity providers, but also they really need to take care of maximizing the fee revenue within the protocol. Additionally, if you are a protocol and you want to create liquidity within our ecosystem, you can potentially offer incentives for the people voting so they can vote for your own liquidity. This helps protocols bootstrap their liquidity within our ecosystem. As part of our go-to-market strategy, we are onboarding many protocols into our ecosystem, including Algebra, Prion, Gamma, Tina, Bifi, Orbs, and we are mainly focused on stablecoins and liquid staking tokens because we believe this is the type of asset that creates strong liquidity positions, and it also has a low impermanent loss, and liquidity providers have high appetite for this type of assets. And these protocols are working with us to come into LYNEX, make it their main liquidity hub, and continue cooperating with us. Additionally, we are targeting communities from similar DeFi protocols with our airdrop and looking to make them come into the Linea ecosystem and also make them come into LYNEX to claim their airdrop. We are looking into the most active wallets, the most valuable users of these DeFi protocols, and targeting them with our airdrop to make sure they also have a chance to become valuable members of our community. So as part of our go-to-market strategy, we have a very early mover advantage on Linea. We're one of the first protocols to deploy there. As I mentioned, we have like DAOs that are cooperating with us. We have the community airdrop. We are continuously looking to onboard new protocols to become liquidity providers and also to participate on our ecosystem through incentives. And currently, we already pre-launched the protocol on the ecosystem. Nevertheless, we are still pretty GE, and even at this stage, we managed to get a pretty good volume relative to our liquidity, showcasing how efficient these strategies are proving to be. We have launched 2 incentivized testnet campaigns and many campaigns to continue to grow our community. We have plenty of testnet transactions and a lot of active wallets currently on mainnet. And we are currently getting ready for our launch on TGE, and we are currently cooperating with many launchpads such as DQ8 and ChangeGPT, which are going to help us execute our public sale. So on our roadmap, we have our token generation event upcoming. We're going to do partner onboarding campaign, basically creating deep integrations with liquid staking tokens. We're going to enable our strategies program, which it also opens the strategy creation for anyone and not only ALMs. Then we are going to start focusing on the zero knowledge dark pools, which is an implementation that not only enables large scale private transactions, but it also enables MAB protection by obfuscating the transaction data. Those who are swapping on LYNEX are going to be protected from MAB, and this creates optimized trading conditions. Currently, the team, even though it's a monkey face over there, I am a guru. That's how I mainly know in the Web3 space. I was also a co-founder of ApeSwap almost 3 years ago. And through my experience with ApeSwap, which is now known as Abond, I built a whole range of DeFi expertise, DeFi network, and information about how the liquidity strategies work, how to optimize liquidity provision, how to create the right incentive structures. And during my years in the crypto space, I even had the amazing opportunity of co-author an ERC 5725. It has been approved 4 months ago, and I'm incredibly happy about this achievement. Working with very like-minded people, our lead Solidity dev has worked with protocols securing over 700 million in TVL with never loss of user funds, no exploit, and we have like a wide range of combined DeFi experience. Additionally, we have some top-tier advisors, such as Movis Ledford, who has been the CTO of CoinMarketCap, previous of his acquisition. He has added a lot of value for us in the technical side, and many others that are helping us drive this forward. Finally, we are working with some top-tier partners such as Consensus. NXChain is one of our first believers. Decubate, who is helping us launch. StakeTone is our main LSD protocol. Thank you. And Orbs Network is a layer 3, which is helping us integrate things such as limit orders, swaps, and they are also going to be onboarded as liquidity providers. And well, thanks everyone for listening. And yeah, I'm happy to take any questions that might have come up.
Yes, thank you so much, Ignacio. Ivan has also a few questions, I believe.
Yeah, I have first question from our judge. It's Hugo May from Polka Starter, very active judge. Thank you for questions. So why are you building on LYNEX? What is your view on the ecosystem?
That's a great question. So here I'll address it with my bullish thesis on LYNEX and the ecosystem. I think that most people know Consensus, most people know MetaMask. We know this is like one of the most OG organizations within the crypto ecosystem. MetaMask is the most used wallet, and Consensus is launching LYNEX while also being the owners or managers of the most used wallet. I do believe that if a user has MetaMask, the odds of the user being an active DeFi participant or an active blockchain user are pretty high. So I do believe that MetaMask is potentially the best distribution channel for user acquisition that anyone could hope for. So I believe that by leveraging these synergies, because at the end of the day, it's the main company, LYNEX as a layer 2 has an unfair competitive advantage over any other layer 2 or even layer 1. I don't think there is any other blockchain out there that can tap into the most used wallet like Consensus and LYNEX can do it. We already seen this type of integrations. I mean, LYNEX was added as a default network into MetaMask. You can bridge for free using MetaMask from Ethereum into LYNEX. And we're going to continue to see this type of integrations that, in my opinion, once, like, let's call it the new users, the newbies start coming in, they are going to go into MetaMask and they're going to see Ethereum expensive, LYNEX cheap, and the decision is going to be very simple. They are going to come to LYNEX.
Thank you. By the way, nice glasses. I can't admit.
Thank you.
And also, we have a question from our community. So, do LYNEX have a plan on concentrated liquidity and liquidity manager, or it is already implemented?
No, so we have this already implemented. Our strategy right now is not to be ourselves the liquidity managers, but integrate with existing liquidity managers that are already out there in the market. And by integrating with multiple liquidity managers and aggregate them, we put them in a very competitive position where they actually need to maximize the fee revenue. We are currently integrated with Steer, Ichi, and Gamma. And we are looking to also onboard DeFi Edge, and we are open to onboard any established liquidity manager, of course, after due diligence, make sure that everything makes sense, that they have a track record, audits, etc. But our goal is to integrate as many liquidity managers as we can.
Thanks for elaborating on it. We have one more question coming up again from Nick. I'm bringing you on the stage. Welcome back.
Yep. Hey. Hope you're doing great. Yeah, I just wondering about your LP AML matching engine. Can you elaborate a bit more on how it works? Do you have some parameters behind it, or like the neural network that can match the requests?
So, well, first of all, our concentrated liquidity infrastructure is built on top of Algebra. This means that we have concentrated liquidity, but also a dynamic fee model that is adjusted relative to volatility and volume to maximize volume or fee revenue relative to market conditions. In terms of the strategies and how they are rebalanced, managed, and all of these parameters, at the end of the day, as we are offsetting this responsibility to, let's call it, people that this is their core business. Like their core business is managing liquidity strategies such as Gamma, Anichi, and so forth. each of them, they all have their own different set of parameters and different type of strategies that get different inputs and outputs. For example, Gamma has like Gamma narrow strategy that simply measures like current price ranges, and when it's out of range, it rebalances. On the case of Ichi, they focus mainly on single-sided strategies, where they try to keep most of the liquidity on a single asset to minimize impermanent loss. And again, when the asset starts getting out of range, what they do is they put a bunch of limit orders close to the price to make it go back to the asset it is. Nevertheless, as new liquidity managers start to be onboarded and arise, I think that a whole new range of strategies are going to happen. Like many are going to start leveraging AI. They're going to start creating complex strategies. And I think that this liquidity management field is continue to grow, but we don't aim to be the strategists ourselves, but we aim to give this up and coming trend of strategies a platform to put their strategies on.
Got it. Thanks for the reply.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Considering everything, Ignacio, thank you for your time. We're out of time. It was a pleasure to have you as our last showcasing guest on today. So looking forward to your launch. I believe it's quite soon, right?
Yes, it's target the 15th of February. It's going to be our TGE. Nevertheless, the protocol is already out there. We have a pre-mining campaign ongoing. And yeah, we are already on mainnet, but yeah, TGE is coming soon. And yeah, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Our pleasure too.
Have a good one.
See you around.